And you know what that means? She's about to get a clean get back. First hitting this man with a clean 4-piece combo from Popeyes. And then she's like, oh no, don't forget the sides. I need red beans and rice with this meal. Next, turn this man into the Hope meme real quick. Brothers, did you catch that Kendrick Lamar diss track? Not gonna lie, I've been bumping that all week. His verse was so hard he has local cheers fainting. That chair will never be the same. One of the best animes that no one saw coming. In the split of current anime, it's top 5 right now. And I'll be removing for this conversation Shangri-La, The Apothecary Diaries, and Free Run. And if you don't have it in your top 5, I'm gonna have to be sending Anime Jesus on your ass. And trust me, you don't want these historical problems. Alright, to episode 1. It starts out with like a dialogue scene about how some people are in the spotlight while others are naturally the opposite, which is just a scientific fact. But this is the first sign to me that this story might be good. But next we're reminded of one of the stupidest anime tropes in all of fiction. Our main protagonist here, Usato, is afraid of going home in the rain. I find it funny how anime characters are willing to wait hours until the rain stops, as if this rain is just acid or something. But this sets up our characters meeting, and it turns out the popular kids are actually just like us, for real. While walking home, Shizune brings up a real thought-provoking moment, that being their future, with her having a bit of a case of imposter syndrome, with her bringing up how she feels like she's in the wrong world, which is cute in the anime for them being isekai the next second. As soon as they get to the next world, Kazuki is already on timing, full on pressing the king about sending them here without their consent. Meanwhile, in the background, Shizuki is just geeking out back here, where Usato's image about the girl is just ruined forever, as she is then labeled the edgelord of the group. With it not helping that she actually has lightning chakra, which is an element reserved for characters with an edge streak.
Ooh! And guess what? I ruined your edging streak while you were sleeping.
What? Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
You got a sharp tongue there, but I like that. From this moment on, Usato mentally views this girl as tainted. When it's time to see the main character's powers, the mage girl starts tweaking. But not just her, everybody in the palace, with them ordering him to be moved to like the outskirts of the kingdom. And like when you see this, you're like, what type of maleficent power does he have? But no, they're not afraid of him, but for him.
You're him. Hemi Neutron. Hemi John. He's him.
Nah,
he's actually him. Can I get a...
So we know what that means. They're trying to make a real main character entrance. Busting through the door, we get this muscular Amazonian, this buff built ass girl. Her ass is as hard as rock built ass girl. 6'3" built ass girl. She looks like she plays for the WNBA, but has no jumper. Obviously, she has to be some type of catastrophic character to be having the king and all of his men shaking in their boots. And you know, they try their best to keep Usato away from her, but look at her. She obviously gets what she wants. Episode 2. Alright, so we gotta do like a quick drip check. And when I looked at this, I was just like, it's a better version of the Survey Corps uniform without having that mandatory skirt. Like, let's be real. What sicko designed this uniform and had these freaking 15-year-olds wear it? Next walks in the drill sergeant herself, Captain Rose. I don't really care who you go to see when you're not training, but any other time, that ass is mine.
What?
Okay, so the opening song plays and it sounds kind of like a shonen song. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could actually mistake this song being a Naruto. When we get to his actual training, I learned one thing. Her healing magic is so hard. She makes him train until his bones break and muscles physically just give out. And then she just smacks them back into place using healing magic until his natural healing just kicks in and allows his body to auto heal. And Rose's setup game is crazy. Like, she's full on a menace. She tells him to write his experiences daily in a journal, right? And kicks his ass for a full-on month. And then when he shit talks her in the journal, she reads the journal and kicks his ass again. Even though it has those funny moments, I feel like I'm actually watching some type of emotional military movie in this episode. The way he's mentally internalizing everything that's happening to him. Also, they are on timing. The way she's orchestrating these beefs with this grown man eating his lunch. And you know, this is a crucial moment where we learn what type of character we have here, as we want to see. What does he do?
If you let him have your cornbread, you're gonna be ironing his drawers and clipping his toenails.
And he fights this grown-ass fat nigga to make sure he doesn't get his food anymore. And you cannot tell me she didn't set that shit up. But if you thought that was good, this next scene is literal peak.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
You're slowing down. No! I'm done, nah. This shit is so hard. No, this pose is it. She's training him to be a monster and I love it. She's looking badass as hell too. She's like, hey, you slowing down. Who the hell is whining? Oh, and they talking shit to each other too. Did you just click your tongue at me? Bitch, what if I did? You're so light I couldn't help myself. Oh, what a smooth talker you are. Oh, is that how you feel, little nigga? Another cinder block then. No, I don't know who waifu of the season we had earlier ahead of her. I don't know it. I don't care about it. I don't look at the ratings. She's number one. She's number one.
He was number one.
You finally become my kind of man. He's only 17, lady. Relax. Because this is how you create a monster. Shizune Senpai is just thirsting looking at his muscles, and that was the moment when he officially escaped the friend zone. Episode 3. I don't know, but Rose just out of nowhere becomes like this Olympic javelin thrower, chucking this boy at least 90 meters. You could call this lady Zeus the way she was throwing him. And on this training trip, he meets a cute little rabbit monster. And to me, this just looks like breakfast, but you know the rule. If it's cute, he's not killing it. But if it looks like this, you kill it with fire. Now he has to kill this legendary monster bear or whatever, or else he can't go home. But he gets cold feet seeing that this legendary bear monster has a family, but he gotta follow his captain's orders and break up this happy family. Luckily, he doesn't have to do so, as this demon snake out of nowhere did it for him.
Put your paws up, homie.
But you see, Usato didn't like the way the snake did it, because it didn't do it for food. This thing lived up to its name.
He's just standing there, menacingly.
And killed this family for fun. So he had to go track it down, and off the rip, he follows one of the cardinal rules in anime of hit it in the eye. But you know, the snake didn't like that and tried to turn him into shanks. But bro still managed to stab him in the mouth, and the two of them hit the meanest stare down. But the snake was not playing fair, and it was letting its venom kick in. Luckily, Usato got the assist from the baby cub, who slid back for his dead parents. And I was just like in the theaters, like, this is what dreams are made of. But this snake was faking us out the entire time, like Cell did to Vegeta. And as Usato was sitting there on his deathbed, he decided one last time he's gonna let his sensei hear it. But you know, that was the trigger point for her to come out and save him.
I'll get you, bitch.
And it's revealed that this little bastard was fooling us the entire time, with him actually being her pet. And you could call this rabbit 6'9" the way he fooled us. Afterwards, she picks up him and the bear and gives him the meanest JoJo stare of for calling her a gorilla back woman. Does that mean what I think it means? He's only 17, lady. Relax. She for sure is pulling a Grissia on some I trained him well in the bedroom. Don't worry. I'm sorry, this anime is giving me too many signs that the two of them are gonna smash eventually. Episode 4. Rose is impressed and tells him she's gonna be training him to become her right-hand man.
I like you, and I want you.
Next, this guy built like Kabuto brags about how he made an even stronger snake monster. But this girl does not care because she's too busy glazing up Rose, who scares her.
Get off that nigga dick, bro. What is you doing?
Which is a feat into itself. Like, do you know how different you gotta be to give a demon nightmares? He sees the rabbit and is just like, I will not be fooled again by your cuteness. But seeing this bear peacefully eat must have ticked her off, because she's next like, you gotta earn your keep around here. And I'm just like, damn, what are you about to go do to the bear? Because next Usato gotta be carrying around this bear like it's a body, to in her words, stimulate the battlefield, where the crew is way too happy about what's about to happen next. First bro comes out of the bushes, trying to hit him. Next, the second guy goes for a tackle, but Usato further proves that he's a part of Weave Nation. The last guy was just trying to be nasty, with him just throwing his dirty toilet water at him. By far is the biggest weirdo of the group. And you know, Usato passes out, and here comes Rose, talking like a disappointed ex-girlfriend, on some, you ain't never gonna get some play if this is your best performance time. And I'm just like, damn, you try carrying around some 1,000-pound weight on top of you, while you're expected to be performing at your best. Next, you gotta run through the town, where the people here are just so used to seeing the rescue team and their antics. Like, this is just instilled behavior at this point. And Usato catches up with Shizune, who's low-key falling for him. But on a serious note, Shizune and him start to develop some good chemistry together. And when he gets back home, him and Rose have a real conversation about if he's ready for war, with Usato being honest, saying that he's not. But Rose is cool with it, reminding him that his job is to save people, not to kill them, with the rest of the crew eavesdropping on their moment. Episode 5. So we get some fun little interactions between Shizune and Berlin, and also with Kazuki and the princess. So Berlin doesn't like Shizune's dirty little hands touching his nice clean fur, but on their little training trip, Ban ambushed them. But when I tell you this girl Shizune was not afraid, I'm telling you, there was no fear in her heart. But because of some plot device monsters, they get separated from the rest of them. With the two of them alone, we learn that Shizune has never been allowed to climb a tree, which is really sad, because like everyone has had that thought about climbing a tree at least one time in their life. And if you lie saying that you haven't, I'm gonna prank call you until you admit otherwise. That night, the two of them have a conversation about being isekai'd. And you know, I thought this conversation was gonna play out somewhat similar to like the Jimmy Neutron movie, where she admits that she misses her parents or something, but it was the complete opposite. She always thought she was so fake in the other world, and she really does not miss it. And you know, he supports her, saying that she's not a bad person for thinking that way. I like their moment together because they didn't have to make up some real tragic backstory for the girl, or make it to win some type of love scene between the two of them. This episode just submitted to me that Shizune is actually a good character. Episode 6. So this episode just made me think of the flaws of this anime, and what I would probably change to make it better. Like how the princess is clearly shipped to be with Kazuki, with there being no alternative direction to their characters. And this is like a small thing, but I felt like Rose should have been named something different like Tanya, because let's be real, how many times have you just heard the name Rose in anime? So anyway, the king sent off Rose to go scout, and it turns out the demons are building a bridge to attack the humans. And I'm like, okay, she's gonna see the bridge and then go back to report. And she does not do that. She does not do that. What does she do? She throws a tree at them. A tree. And at that moment in my head, I was just thinking, how many gorillas would it take to break a tree, pick it up, and then throw it with the amount of force to destroy a Naruto bridge? Episode 7. So this fox girl just puts freaking Usato into like this genjutsu, which made me think he must have been under Tsukiyomi with the amount of trauma and dead bodies I was seeing at that moment. Next, this linebacker built ass woman picks him up off the ground. And like the full palm walk is crazy. She has the grip strength of Gorilla Glue. And it's time for the war and all the kids are, a bit nervous about it, understandably. But this only further proof that Shizune is superior to Kazuki, because bro is not locked in. I also found it funny when the healer girl tried to go freaking pet Berlin and he kept the same energy, with the rabbit on the same type of timing. And finally, after 7 episodes in 2 months, bro finally doesn't look like a starter character in Elden Ring. And I'm glad he's also not wearing the freaking starter black jacket like all these Walmart protagonists be having.
You're dirt. You're doo-doo butter.
Episode 8. So it's time for Rose's backstory, where 5 years ago, she was a battalion commander, and Rose, to me, looks visually different. She looks less gorilla-like, less wild, and a bit smaller, too. She also had this girl named Owl as her, little hedgehog subordinate who has purple hair, and you know what that means. She will not be making it. The team runs into some demons, and they split up. And peak the form, Rose for sure would be a baseball player the way she was throwing that thing. Episode 9. The fight is pretty even, for the most part, up until this guy pulls out some hacks, giving all of his guys some cursed amplified magic. The only thing it's really doing is the men are now just losing their mind and willing to sacrifice themselves to make sure the enemy dies, with her unable to heal due to this cursed sword. And at this point, it's basically GG and he's going for the kill. But then Al just channels her inner Piccolo and sacrifices herself, with Rose getting flashbacks to all of her subordinates. And you know what that means. She's about to get a clean get back. First hitting this man with a clean 4-piece combo from Popeyes. And then she's like, oh no, don't forget the sides. I need red beans and rice with this meal. Next, turn this man into the Hope meme real quick. With her next taking me back to my childhood, because on this one she does a charge DDBA burst meter on this man. She then pins him down into a tree using the sword that he came with. Say it with me now. Fatality. But as she's about to kill him, she sees his subordinate, and that look in her eyes reminds her of Al, and she lets them leave. Her backstory might make you shed a thug tear, like the thought of self-harm, revenge, and loneliness do creep into her mind, with her also having to look the parents of her fallen men in their eyes. But from her lowest point in life came a breakthrough, with her now knowing what she gotta do, being to find and create the perfect subordinate, one that wouldn't die on her, with her telling her entire backstory to this nigga. And in this moment, I realized that Rose is literally a what-if character of Tsunade if she had the personality of Captain Vermilion. Episode 10. And it's time for the war. And I gotta say, this Dark Knight reminds me of the abridged version of Broly, the way he was talking. Their power level is so low.
Probably someone with a really big power level.
And we learned that the Black Knight has reflect magic. And this scene made me ask the question of, are all reflect users naturally just cocky? Because all the ones I know in anime are just generally cocky. Also, this foot soldier's thinking like me out here, because for sure if I had to be fighting in a war, I'm staying by the healer. So Shizune and her party go to fight the Black Knight, and I guess Kazuki's there as well. And she was risking to gamble it all on this one little play, trying to attack him from behind.
Pause.
Bluffing as he doesn't have a weakness of back shots. And GG, you tried. Kazuki for sure is dead. He gonna need more than a quick revive. But for real, somebody needs to stop him before he decides to go take on the entire verse. Episode 11. Shizune is getting more of a backstory, but it's not nothing crazy. But you know what that backstory means? It's time for the main character to show up. And I gotta say, this fight scene doesn't even make any sense, with this girl getting post-war PTSD flashbacks, hearing that a white-coated enemy beat the Black Knight. And after the war, Rose gives it up and actually tells him that he did a good job. And I felt that too, because she actually smiled at him. It took 11 episodes, but she had to give him to him. He beat an enemy with the basically Hack's ultimate defense, looking like Naruto when he beat Neji.
Hey, boy, we told you to believe in yourself, nigga. Believe in yourself, nigga.
Episode 12. So Usato gets a call from the Black Knight, the healer, because he really beat her ass. And the Black Knight and him get a moment together. Damn, the demons must have really been treating her like Naruto when he was a kid, the way she was grabbing his hand like that. But that being strike one, Rose tells him that she doesn't have to hold back so much, telling him that like Gohan, he needs to learn how to dodge. KO. During this downtime, he starts hanging out with the demon girl, with her acting like a tsundere around him. Strike 2. Meanwhile, Kazuki learns one of Yamcha's moves. Funny how that works out. And the demon girl gets 2 options, with the second being worse than death, with her already answering that she would rather die. But it turns out that she never had a choice, being strike 3, with them welcoming her to the team. With the last thing we get being season 2 content, with there being other kingdoms for them to go explore. Overall, this was actually a pretty good anime. The show being on the same tier like Bofuri or like the Spider Isekai to me. Not exactly an 8 out of 10, but not really that far off. But I do wish these characters actually were drawn with some more detail on them, as the main character has a pretty forgettable face. And Rose is cool, but I don't know if she's going to be good enough to be lasting for multiple seasons.